Nia followed Mama Z through the glittering streets of the hidden kingdom. Everything around her seemed to sparkle and shine. Flowers sang soft melodies as they passed, and butterflies with wings like stained glass fluttered overhead. They arrived at a large circular courtyard surrounded by tall, shimmering pillars. In the center stood a group of people dressed in flowing, colorful robes. They moved in perfect unison, their dance creating swirls of light in the air. "These are the master dancers of the hidden kingdom," Mama Z explained. "They will be your teachers." One of the dancers, a tall woman with kind eyes, stepped forward. "Welcome, Nia. I am Amara, the lead instructor. Are you ready to begin your training?" Nia nodded nervously. "I'll try my best, but I'm not sure I can do magic like you." Amara smiled. "Magic is already within you, child. We are just here to help you find it." The lesson began. Amara showed Nia a series of simple steps, explaining how each movement connected to the magic around them. Nia copied the steps, concentrating hard. At first, nothing happened. Nia felt clumsy and awkward compared to the graceful master dancers. But she kept trying, determined to succeed. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in brilliant oranges and purples, something changed. Nia felt a tingling in her feet, a warmth that spread up through her body. As she twirled, a small spark of light appeared, dancing in the air around her. Nia gasped in surprise, losing her concentration. The spark vanished. But Amara was beaming with pride. "Well done, Nia," she exclaimed. "That was an excellent start. With practice, you'll be creating rain clouds in no time." As Nia left the courtyard with Mama Z, her heart felt light. She had done it, she had made magic. But a small worry nagged at her. "Mama Z," she asked, "how long will it take me to learn enough to save my village?" The old woman's face grew serious. "Time works differently here, Nia. But we must hurry. Your village doesn't have long before the drought begins." Nia nodded, a determined look on her face. She would work hard and learn fast. Her family and friends were counting on her, even if they didn't know it yet. Days passed in the hidden kingdom, though Nia couldn't tell how many. The sun never seemed to fully set, and she never felt tired. Each day brought new lessons, new magical dances to learn. Nia was making progress. She could now create small clouds with her dance, though they disappeared quickly. But as her skills grew, so did her homesickness. One day, as she practiced in a quiet garden, Nia found herself thinking of her mother's warm hugs, her father's deep laugh, and the games she used to play with Kofi. A tear slid down her cheek. "Why so sad, young dancer?" a voice asked. Nia turned to see a boy about her age standing nearby. He had bright green eyes that seemed to shift color like leaves in the wind. "I'm Jabari," the boy said with a friendly smile. "I'm training to be a tree speaker." "I'm Nia," she replied, wiping away her tear. "I'm learning magical dance to save my village from a drought. But I miss home." Jabari nodded understandingly. "I felt the same way when I first came here. It gets easier, though. And think of how proud your family will be when you return as a hero." Nia managed a small smile. "You're right. I can't give up now. That's the spirit." Jabari grinned. "Hey, want to see something cool?" He placed his hand on a nearby tree and closed his eyes. To Nia's amazement, a branch lowered itself, offering her a perfect, juicy mango. "Wow!" Nia exclaimed, taking the fruit. "That's amazing." As they shared the mango, Nia felt her homesickness ease a little. She had made her first friend in the hidden kingdom, and it made her feel less alone. "Thanks, Jabari," she said as they parted ways. "I feel much better now." With renewed determination, Nia returned to her practice. She would master this magic, no matter what it took. As weeks passed, Nia's skills grew quickly. She could now create small rain clouds that would sprinkle water for a few minutes. But she knew she needed to do much more to save her village. One day, as Nia practiced in the main courtyard, she noticed another girl watching her. The girl had long braids decorated with beads that clinked softly as she moved. Her eyes were fixed on Nia, a frown on her face. Hello, Nia said, feeling uncomfortable under the girl's stare. I'm Nia. What's your name? I know who you are, the girl replied coldly. I'm Zai. I've been training here for years to become the rain dancer. And then you show up out of nowhere and everyone acts like you're so special. Nia's heart sank. She hadn't meant to upset anyone. I'm sorry, she said. I'm just trying to learn so I can help my village. Zai's frown deepened. Well, don't get too comfortable. I'm going to prove that I'm the best dancer here, not some village girl who barely knows what magic is. Before Nia could respond, Zai began to dance. Her movements were precise and powerful. Dark clouds formed overhead, and soon rain was pouring down, soaking them both. Zai stopped dancing and gave Nia a smug look. See? That's real rain magic. Can you do that? Nia shook her head, feeling small and inadequate. Not yet, she admitted. And you never will, Zai said, turning to leave. You should just go back to your village and leave the real magic to us. As Zai walked away, Nia stood in the rain, her clothes dripping and her spirits low. For the first time since coming to the Hidden Kingdom, she wondered if she was really cut out for this. But then she remembered her village, her family, and friends facing a terrible drought. She couldn't give up. Taking a deep breath, Nia began to dance again, letting the rain mix with her tears of determination. She would prove Zai wrong. She would become a great magical dancer, no matter what it took. Her village was counting on her, and she wouldn't let them down. Feeling discouraged after her encounter with Zai, Nia wandered through the Hidden Kingdom, lost in thought. Her feet carried her to a part of the magical realm she hadn't seen before, a dense, misty garden filled with plants she'd never imagined. As she walked, Nia heard a soft, melodic humming. Following the sound, she found Jabari sitting cross-legged in a clearing, surrounded by flowers that seemed to sway to his tune. Nia! Jabari exclaimed, his eyes lighting up. I was hoping you'd find this place. It's my favorite spot to practice. Nia smiled weakly. It's beautiful, she said, sitting down beside him. I wish I could make plants dance like you do. Jabari's brow furrowed. What's wrong? You look sad. Nia sighed and told Jabari about her encounter with Zai. Maybe I don't belong here. Jabari shook his head firmly. Don't listen to Zai. She's just jealous because you have a natural talent she's had to work years for. But she's so much better than me, Nia protested. For now, Jabari said with a grin. But you have something she doesn't, a real reason to dance. You're not doing this for yourself, but for your whole village. That's powerful magic, Nia. Jabari's words made Nia feel a little better. She looked around the garden, noticing how the plants seemed to lean towards them, as if listening. What is this place? She asked. It's the heart garden, Jabari explained. The plants here respond to emotions. Watch this. He closed his eyes and began to hum again. As he did, the flowers around them burst into bloom, their petals shimmering with vibrant colors. Now you try, Jabari encouraged. Dance how you feel. Hesitantly, Nia stood up and began to dance. She thought of her village, her family, her determination to help them. As she moved, the plants around her started to sway and grow, reaching towards the sky. Nia gasped in wonder. I'm doing it. Jabari beamed. See. Your emotions make your magic stronger. Remember this feeling, Nia. It's the key to becoming a great dancer. As they left the garden together, Nia felt hope blossoming in her heart, just like the magical flowers. That night, as Nia slept in her room in the Hidden Kingdom's palace, she had a vivid dream. She saw her village, but it wasn't as she remembered it. The ground was cracked and dry, the crops withered in the fields. Her people walked with slumped shoulders, their faces drawn with worry. In the dream, Nia saw her parents sitting outside their hut, looking tired and thirsty. Her mother looked up, seeming to stare right at Nia. "We need you, Nia," her mother's voice echoed. "Please hurry." Nia woke up with a start, her heart pounding. The room around her shimmered, as if the dream was trying to linger in the waking world. Without thinking, Nia began to dance. Her movements were filled with longing, worry, and love for her family. To her amazement, a small cloud formed above her, sprinkling cool water onto her face. There was a knock at the door. Mama Z entered, her eyes twinkling. "You felt it, didn't you?" the old woman asked. "The connection to your village?" Nia nodded, still breathless from her dance. "I saw them in my dream. The drought has started, Mama Z. They need me." Mama Z's face grew serious. "Then we must speed up your training. From today, you will practice from sunrise to sunset. Can you handle that, child?" Nia thought of her family's tired faces, of the dying crops. She stood up straight and looked Mama Z in the eye. "I can do it," she said firmly. "I have to." Mama Z smiled proudly. "That's my brave girl. Now, let's begin." As Nia followed Mama Z to the practice courtyard, still in her night clothes, she felt a new determination burning inside her. She would master this magic, no matter how hard it was. Her village was counting on her. Weeks flew by in a blur of constant practice. Nia danced until her feet ached and her arms felt like lead. But with each passing day, her power grew. She could now create rain clouds that lasted for hours, showering everything around her with life-giving water. One morning, Amara approached Nia with a serious expression. "It's time for your test, Nia," she said. "The elders of the Hidden Kingdom want to see if you're ready to perform the great rain dance." Nia's stomach fluttered with nerves. "What if I fail?" she asked in a small voice. Amara placed a comforting hand on Nia's shoulder. "Believe in yourself, just as we believe in you. You're ready for this." Nia was led to a vast arena she'd never seen before. Thousands of seats surrounded a central platform, then every seat was filled. Nia saw Jabari in the crowd, giving her an encouraging thumbs up. But she also spotted Zai, watching with narrowed eyes. At the far end of the arena sat three elderly figures on ornate thrones, the elders of the Hidden Kingdom. Mama Z stood beside them, smiling reassuringly at Nia. "Nia of Magi Village," one of the elders spoke, his voice magically amplified. "Show us the power of your dance. Bring the rain to our drought-stricken land." Nia looked around. The arena floor had been transformed into a dry, cracked wasteland. Withered plants dotted the barren earth. This was her chance to prove herself. Taking a deep breath, Nia began to dance. She thought of her village, of her family's faces in her dream. She poured all her love, worry, and hope into her movements. At first, nothing happened. Nia could hear murmurs from the crowd. But she didn't let it distract her. She danced harder, reaching deep inside for every scrap of magic she possessed. Suddenly, a cool breeze swept through the arena. Clouds began to form overhead, growing larger and darker. A drop of rain fell, then another and another. Soon, the rain was pouring down, drenching everything. The dry ground eagerly soaked up the water. Before everyone's amazed eyes, the withered plants began to perk up, their leaves turning green and vibrant. Nia kept dancing, lost in the joy of her magic. She didn't notice the cheering crowd or the impressed looks on the elders' faces. She danced until the entire arena was transformed into a lush, green oasis. As Nia finally stopped, panting and soaking wet, the crowd erupted in wild applause. Jabari was on his feet, cheering loudly. Even Zai looked impressed, though she quickly hid it. The elder who had spoken stood up. "Nia of Maji village," he proclaimed. "You have passed the test. You are now ready to save your people." As Mama Z enveloped her in a warm hug, Nia felt a mixture of joy, relief, and anticipation. She had done it. Now, it was time to go home and face her greatest challenge yet. The morning after her successful test, Nia stood at the gates of the Hidden Kingdom. Her heart was a mix of excitement and nervousness. It was time to return home and save her village. Mama Z, Amara, and Jabari were there to see her off. Jabari stepped forward, holding out a small pouch. "These are seeds from the heart garden," he explained. "Plant them in your village. They'll help the land remember the magic of your dance." Nia hugged her friend tightly. "Thank you, Jabari. I'll miss you." Amara placed a hand on Nia's shoulder. "Remember all you've learned, Nia. Your power comes from your heart." Finally, Mama Z approached. Her eyes twinkled with pride and a hint of sadness. "You've grown so much, child. Are you ready for your final lesson?" Nia nodded, curious. Mama Z waved her gnarled staff, and a shimmering portal appeared. "This will take you home," Mama Z explained. "But remember, the journey between worlds can be tricky. You must dance your way through. If you stop, even for a moment, you could be lost forever." Nia's eyes widened, but she stood tall. "I understand. I won't stop dancing until I'm home." With final hugs and waves goodbye, Nia stepped into the portal and began to dance. The world around her became a swirling mass of colors and light. Nia kept moving, her feet finding rhythms in the chaos. She danced through starry skies and over stormy seas. She twirled past strange creatures and through forests of light. Just when Nia thought her legs would give out, she saw a familiar sight ahead, the outskirts of her village. With a final spin, Nia danced out of the portal and collapsed onto the dusty ground of home. As the portal closed behind her, Nia looked around. Her heart sank. The village looked even worse than in her dream. The ground was cracked and dry, and a hot wind blew dust through empty streets. Nia stood up, brushing herself off. She had made it home. Now, it was time to bring the rain. Nia walked through the quiet streets of her village, shocked by how much had changed. The once lively marketplace was deserted. Gardens that had been full of vegetables were now just patches of dry earth. As she neared her family's hut, Nia heard a familiar voice cry out. "Nia! Nia, is that really you?" Her mother rushed out, enveloping Nia in a tight hug. "Oh, my child. We thought we'd lost you forever." Nia's father joined them, his eyes filled with happy tears. "Where have you been, Nia? You've been gone for months." Nia's eyes widened. Months. In the Hidden Kingdom, it had felt like only a few weeks. She realized time must move differently between the two worlds. "It's a long story," Nia said. "But I'm here now, and I can help." Her parents exchanged worried looks. "Help? How, Nia? The drought has destroyed everything. We are barely surviving." Nia took a deep breath. "I know this will sound strange, but I've learned how to make it rain." Her parents looked confused and a bit concerned. Before they could say anything, a crowd began to gather. Word of Nia's return had spread quickly. Among the crowd, Nia spotted Kofi. Her old friend looked at her with a mixture of joy and uncertainty. Nia says she can make it rain, someone in the crowd shouted. Murmurs of disbelief and hope rippled through the gathered villagers. The village elder stepped forward, his face grave. Nia, if this is some kind of joke, it's not funny. Our situation is desperate. Nia stood tall, feeling the eyes of the entire village upon her. It's not a joke. I can save our village. But I need you all to believe in me and in the magic of dance. The elder frowned. Magic. Dance. Child, we need real solutions, not fairy tales. Nia felt a moment of doubt. What if her power didn't work here, outside the hidden kingdom? But then she remembered Jabari's words about the power of emotions. She thought of her love for her village, her determination to save her people. Please, Nia said, her voice strong. Give me a chance. What do we have to lose? The elder looked around at the tired, hopeful faces of the villagers. Finally, he nodded. Very well, Nia. Show us this magic of yours. As the villagers gathered in the central square, Nia closed her eyes and began to dance. Nia's bare feet moved across the dry, cracked earth of the village square. At first, her movements were hesitant. She could feel the doubtful stares of the villagers, hear their whispers. But as she danced, Nia began to lose herself in the rhythm. She thought of everything she'd learned in the hidden kingdom. She remembered the feeling of magic flowing through her, the joy of creating rain from nothing but movement and will. Nia danced faster, her arms swaying like trees in the wind, her feet stamping out complex rhythms. She danced for her family, for Kofi, for every person in the village suffering from the drought. She danced for the withered crops and the dry riverbeds. As Nia's dance reached a fever pitch, a cool breeze began to blow. The villagers gasped as clouds started to form overhead, growing larger and darker with each passing moment. Nia opened her eyes, still dancing. She saw the amazed faces of her people, their eyes turned to the sky in wonder. She caught sight of Kofi, his mouth open in awe. Then, it happened. A drop of rain fell, landing on Nia's cheek. Then another and another. Soon, rain was pouring down, soaking the parched earth and the joyful villagers. People began to laugh and cry, holding out their hands to catch the precious water. Children started to dance, mimicking Nia's movements. Even the village elder was smiling, his face turned up to the life-giving rain. Nia kept dancing, her heart soaring. She had done it. She had saved her village. As the rainstorm continued, Nia remembered Jabari's gift. She pulled out the pouch of seeds from the hut garden and scattered them across the wet ground. To everyone's amazement, the seeds immediately began to sprout. Tiny green shoots pushed up through the mud, growing at an impossible speed. Within minutes, the village square was filled with beautiful, shimmering flowers unlike anything the villagers had ever seen. Finally, exhausted but elated, Nia stopped dancing. The rain gentled to a soft drizzle, and a brilliant rainbow arched across the sky. Nia's parents rushed to embrace her. Our daughter, the magical dancer, her father said proudly. You've saved us all. The village elder approached, bowing his head respectfully. Nia, we owe you a great debt. How can we ever thank you? Nia smiled, looking around at her transformed village. The air smelled fresh and clean, and already the plants were looking healthier. Just promise me one thing, Nia said. Don't forget the magic of dance. It lives in all of us, connecting us to each other and to the earth. As the villagers celebrated around her, Nia knew that her adventure wasn't over. She was now a bridge between two worlds, with the power to bring magic and hope to her people. And so, as the sun began to set on the newly revived village of Magi, Nia began to dance again. This time, everyone joined in, their movements creating tiny sparkles of magic in the rain-fresh air. The hidden kingdom had given Nia a great gift, and now she would share it with the world, one dance at a time. As weeks passed, Magi Village flourished under Nia's magical rain dances. Crops grew tall and strong, and the river flowed once more. But with prosperity came new challenges. One night, Nia woke with a start. Something felt wrong. She crept outside, the cool grass tickling her feet. In the moonlight, she saw a shadowy figure at the edge of the village, bent over the magical flowers from the hut garden. "Hey!" Nia called out. The figure jerked upright and fled into the darkness. Heart pounding, Nia ran to the flowers. Several had been dug up, leaving empty holes in the earth. Who would do this? And why? As she turned to alert the village, a glint caught her eye. Half buried in the dirt was a strange coin. One side bore the image of a crown, the other a withered tree. Nia had never seen anything like it before. She clutched the coin tightly, a chill running down her spine. Something told her this was just the beginning of a new, dangerous mystery. The next morning, Nia showed the coin to the village elder. His face grew pale. "Child," he said gravely, "this is the mark of the drought bringers. They're a secret group that profits from water scarcity. Your magic threatens their power." Nia's eyes widened. "But why come here? We are just a small village." The elder sighed. "I fear your fame has spread, Nia. People are talking about the magical dancer who ended the drought. The drought bringers won't let that stand." Just then a coffee burst into the elder's hut, out of breath. "Nia, come quickly. There's something in the village square." They rushed outside. In the center of the square stood a figure cloaked in swirling mist. As they approached, the mist parted to reveal Mama Z. "Mama Z!" Nia cried, running to hug her mentor. But her arms passed right through the old woman's form. "I'm not really here, child," Mama Z's voice echoed strangely. "I'm sending you this message through magic. You're in grave danger, Nia. The balance between our worlds is shifting. Dark forces are at work." The villagers murmured in fear and awe. "You must return to the hidden kingdom," Mama Z continued. "Only there can you learn to fight what's coming." "But I can't leave my village unprotected," Nia protested. Mama Z's image began to fade. "Find the Moonfire Amulet. It will guide you. Hurry, Nia. The fate of both worlds depends on you." With a flash, Mama Z vanished, leaving Nia and the villagers in stunned silence. Nia knew she had to act fast. But where could she find this Moonfire Amulet? As if in answer, a memory stirred. Years ago, her grandmother had shown her an old family heirloom, a strange, glowing necklace. Could it be? Nia raced home and began searching through her grandmother's old chest. At the bottom, wrapped in soft cloth, she found it. The amulet was a delicate silver crescent moon, with a stone that shimmered like captured moonlight. As soon as Nia touched it, the amulet began to pulse with a soft blue light. Suddenly, Nia felt a tugging sensation, as if the amulet was trying to lead her somewhere. "I have to go," Nia told her worried parents. "But I promise I'll come back and protect our village." Kofi stepped forward. "I'm coming with you," he said firmly. "You'll need help on this journey." Nia smiled gratefully at her friend. Together they followed the amulet's pull, heading into the unknown forest beyond the village. As they walked, the trees around them began to shift and change. The forest grew misty, and strange, glowing plants appeared. Nia realized with a mix of excitement and fear that they were crossing into the hidden kingdom. But something was different this time. The usual vibrant colors seemed muted, and an eerie silence hung in the air. What had happened to this magical realm in Nia's absence? As they emerged from the mist, Nia and Kofi gasped. Before them stood the grand palace of the hidden kingdom, but it was surrounded by a swirling vortex of dark energy. At the top of the highest tower, a figure in a black cloak raised their arms, seeming to control the darkness. Nia clutched the Moonfire Amulet tightly. She had returned to the Hidden Kingdom, but it was clear that her greatest challenge was just beginning. With Kofi by her side, she took a deep breath and stepped forward, ready to face whatever dangers lay ahead to save both her worlds. Nia and Kofi crept closer to the palace, hiding behind twisted, shadowy versions of the once beautiful magical plants. The dark energy pulsing around the palace made Nia's skin crawl. "What happened here?" Kofi whispered, his eyes wide with a mixture of fear and awe. Before Nia could answer, a familiar voice called out from nearby. "Nia! Over here!" They turned to see Jabari waving frantically from behind a large, wilted flower. Nia and Kofi quickly joined him in his hiding spot. "Jabari! What's going on?" Nia asked, relieved to see a friendly face. Jabari's usually cheerful expression was grim. "It's the drought-bringers. They found a way into our realm and corrupted the source of our magic. Most of the kingdom's inhabitants are under their spell now. Even Mama Z and Amara." Nia's heart sank. Jabari nodded sadly. "The elders are resisting, but they're trapped in the palace. And that figure up there?" He pointed to the cloaked person on the tower. "That's Zai. She's working with the drought-bringers." Nia gasped. Despite their rivalry, she never imagined Zai would betray the Hidden Kingdom like this. "We need to stop them," Nia said determinedly. "But how?" Jabari's eyes fell on the Moonfire Amulet around Nia's neck. "The amulet. Legend says it can purify corrupted magic. If we can get you to the heart of the palace, you might be able to cleanse the source." Kofi, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. "But how do we get past all this?" He gestured at the swirling darkness. Nia closed her eyes, feeling the gentle pulse of the amulet. When she opened them, a look of determination crossed her face. "We dance." Nia stepped out from their hiding place, her heart pounding. She took a deep breath and began to dance, her movements slow and deliberate at first. The Moonfire Amulet began to glow brighter, casting a soft blue light around her. As Nia's dance picked up speed, the light grew stronger, pushing back the encroaching darkness. Jabari and Kofi watched in amazement as Nia's dance created a path of light through the corrupted garden. But their awe quickly turned to alarm as shadowy figures began to emerge from the darkness, drawn to the light. "Nia!" Kofi called out in warning. Without missing a beat, Nia called back, "Dance with me." Kofi hesitated for just a moment before joining Nia, mimicking her movements as best he could. To his surprise, he felt a tingling sensation in his feet, and small sparks of light began to appear around him. Jabari joined in, his tree-speaking abilities allowing him to encourage the corrupted plants to remember their true nature. As the three danced together, their combined magic created a protective bubble of light, pushing back the encroaching shadows. They danced their way across the garden, the light from their movements temporarily cleansing the corruption they passed. But Nia could see the darkness creeping back in behind them. Their cleansing wouldn't last long without dealing with the source. As they neared the palace gates, a figure stepped out to block their path. It was Amara, her once kind eyes now glowing with an eerie purple light. "You don't belong here anymore, Nia," Amara said, her voice distorted. "Turn back now." Nia's steps faltered for a moment, but she forced herself to keep dancing. "Amara, please. This isn't you. Fight the corruption." For a brief moment, Nia thought she saw a flicker of recognition in Amara's eyes. But then the purple glow intensified, and Amara began to dance as well, her movements sharp and aggressive. Dark energy swirled around Amara, clashing with the light from Nia's dance. It was a battle of wills, light against dark, each dance trying to overpower the other. Nia's arms were growing tired, her legs aching from the continuous movement. But she couldn't give up now. Concentrating hard, she poured all her emotions into her dance, her love for her village, her friendship with Jabari and Kofi, her determination to save both worlds. The Moonfire Amulet blazed with brilliant light. A wave of blue energy burst from Nia, washing over Amara. The older dancer stumbled, the purple glow in her eyes flickering and fading. Amara blinked, looking confused. Nia. What happened? There was no time for explanations. The palace doors swung open ominously, revealing a corridor of swirling shadows. Come on, Nia said, helping Amara to her feet. We have to keep going. The real fight is just beginning. The group cautiously entered the palace, the Moonfire Amulet's glow providing a small circle of safety around them. The once grand halls were now twisted and dark, barely recognizable. As they moved deeper into the palace, they began to hear a low, pulsing sound. It grew louder as they approached the central chamber, vibrating in their chests. The source of the corruption must be in there, Jabari whispered. They peered into the chamber and gasped. In the center floated a large, pulsating orb of dark energy. Tendrils of shadow stretched out from it, seeping into the walls and floor. Around the orb, the three elders of the hidden kingdom were trapped in bubbles of purple light, their faces contorted in pain. And there, standing before the orb with arms raised, was Zai. She turned as they entered, a wicked smile on her face. Well. The little village girl returns, Zai sneered. Come to see your precious hidden kingdom fall? Nia stepped forward, the Moonfire Amulet blazing. Why, Zai? Why would you do this? Zai's eyes flashed with anger. Why? Because I was never good enough for them. She gestured at the trapped elders. Years of training, and they still chose you. A nobody from nowhere. Well, the drought-bringers appreciated my talents. And now, I'll be the most powerful dancer in any world. She began to dance, dark energy swirling around her. The orb pulsed in rhythm with her movements, the corruption in the room intensifying. Nia knew this was it, the final dance that would determine the fate of both worlds. She took a deep breath and began her own dance, the Moonfire Amulet shining like a star. Light and darkness clashed in the center of the chamber, neither able to overpower the other. Nia could feel her strength waning. She needed help. Everyone, dance, she called out. Remember the joy of the hidden kingdom. Remember the magic in your hearts. Kofi, Jabari, and Amara joined in, their unpracticed but heartfelt movements adding to Nia's power. Even the trapped elders began to sway as much as their prisons would allow. As their combined dance grew stronger, Nia saw doubt flicker across Zai's face. The dark orb's pulses became erratic. It's not too late, Zai, Nia called out. Dance with us, not against us. You've always belonged here. For a moment, the outcome hung in the balance. Then, with a cry of frustration and release, Zai changed her dance. Her movements shifted, aligning with the others. The Moonfire Amulet flared with blinding light. A wave of pure magical energy burst forth, washing over the dark orb. With a sound like shattering glass, the orb exploded into countless motes of light that rained down around them. As the light faded, Nia saw color returning to the hidden kingdom. The elders were free, the corruption was receding, and Zai stood in the center of the room, looking lost and vulnerable. Nia approached her former rival and held out her hand. Come on, Zai. Let's rebuild our kingdom together. As Zai hesitantly took her hand, Nia knew that their adventures were far from over. But whatever challenges lay ahead, she was ready to face them, with the power of dance, the strength of friendship, and the magic of two worlds united. As the hidden kingdom began to recover from the corruption, Nia, Zai, and their friends faced a new challenge. The magical plants and creatures of the realm were still weak and disoriented from the dark magic. Nia had an idea. What if we combine our dancing styles to create a healing dance, she suggested. Each of us has a unique connection to the magic of this world. Zai, still adjusting to her new role as ally, nodded hesitantly. I think I can help with that. My connection to the darker aspects of magic might help us understand how to reverse its effects. Together, Nia, Zai, Jabari, and Amara began to choreograph a complex dance, weaving together their various styles and magical affinities. Kofi watched in amazement, providing rhythm by drumming on a fallen log. As they danced through the kingdom, magic sparkled in their wake. Wilted flowers straightened and bloomed, their colors more vibrant than ever. Confused animals shook off the last vestiges of corruption, their eyes clearing. But as they neared the border of the hidden kingdom, they encountered an unexpected sight. A shimmering barrier separated them from the human world, and beyond it, they could see dark storm clouds gathering over Nia's village. Oh no, Nia gasped. The drought-bringers must have redirected their efforts to the human world when they lost control here. Zai's face hardened with determination. Then we'll just have to take our healing dance to your village, Nia. It's time I used my powers to help people instead of harm them. As they approached the barrier, the Moonfire Amulet began to glow. Nia realized it was the key to crossing between worlds. With a deep breath, she led her friends in a dance that would take them back to Magi Village, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them there. The group materialized on the outskirts of Magi Village, then Nia's heart sank at the sight before them. Dark, unnatural storm clouds loomed overhead, and a harsh wind whipped through the streets, carrying dust and debris. Villagers huddled in their homes, peering out fearfully as Nia and her strange group of friends made their way to the village square. The magical flowers from the Heart Garden were wilting under the onslaught of the cursed weather. Nia. Her parents rushed out to meet her, relief and worry wearing on their faces. You're back. But what's happening? This storm came out of nowhere, and nothing we do can stop it. Before Nia could respond, a chilling laugh echoed through the village. A figure materialized in the center of the square, wearing the emblem of the drought-bringers, a withered tree on a crown. Did you really think you could defeat us so easily, little dancer? The figure sneered. You may have reclaimed your precious hidden kingdom, but the human world is still vulnerable to our power. The drought-bringer began to dance, their movements sharp and aggressive. With each step, the storm intensified, lightning crackling ominously overhead. Nia looked at her friends, determination in her eyes. We need to counter their dance with our own. Everyone, remember the healing dance we created. Focus on your love for both our worlds. As Nia, Zai, Jabari, and Amara began to dance, Kofi and some of the braver villagers started to provide a rhythm, clapping and drumming on whatever they could find. The Moonfire Amulet glowed brightly, its light spreading to encompass the dancers. The two magical dances clashed in the square, light against dark, healing against destruction. The villagers watched in awe as the very air seemed to shimmer with competing energies. For a moment, it seemed as though the drought-bringer's storm would overwhelm them. But then, Nia had an idea. Zai, she called out. Use your knowledge of their magic. Show us how to incorporate it into our dance. Zai nodded, a look of fierce concentration on her face. She adjusted her movements, adding elements of the drought-bringer's style but infusing them with positive energy. The others followed her lead, their dance evolving into something entirely new, a perfect balance of light and dark, rain and sun, growth and rest. As their unified dance reached its peak, a burst of multicolored light exploded outward. The drought-bringer stumbled, their own dance faltering. The storm clouds began to dissipate, giving way to a gentle, nurturing rain. The drought-bringer fell to their knees, their power broken. As the villagers cheered, Nia approached the defeated figure. Your reign of fear is over, she said firmly. But if you're willing to learn, there's a place for you in a world where all types of magic work together for the good of all. As the drought-bringer looked up with a mix of confusion and hope, Nia knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter, one where the hidden kingdom and the human world would need to find a way to coexist in harmony. In the days that followed, Magi Village buzzed with activity and excitement. The defeat of the drought-bringer had not only saved them from the cursed storm but had also opened up a new world of possibilities. Nia, with the help of her friends from the Hidden Kingdom, began teaching the villagers about magic and dance. To everyone's surprise, many discovered they had latent magical abilities of their own. "It's as if the barrier between our worlds is thinning," Jabari observed one evening as they watched villagers practice simple magical dances in the square. Zai nodded, a thoughtful expression on her face. "But is that a good thing? The separation has protected both worlds for centuries." Nia fingered the Moonfire Amulet, which hadn't stopped glowing since their battle with the Drought-bringer. "I think it's time for change. The Drought-bringers proved that keeping our worlds entirely separate only creates opportunities for misunderstanding and fear." As if in response to her words, the amulet pulsed brightly. Suddenly, the air in the center of the square began to shimmer, and a portal opened. Through it, they could see the grand palace of the Hidden Kingdom. The elders stepped through, their faces solemn but their eyes twinkling with something like excitement. Nia, the eldest, spoke, his voice carrying across the now silent square. "Your actions have set in motion events long prophesied. The time has come for our worlds to reunite, to face the challenges of the future together." Murmurs of excitement and trepidation rippled through the gathered villagers. Nia felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders, but also a thrill of anticipation. "But how?" she asked. "Our worlds are so different." The elder smiled. "That is where you come in, young one. You and your friends will be the bridge between worlds. Your dance has the power to unite, to teach, and to heal. You will help both sides understand each other, find common ground, then create a new harmony." As the elder spoke, the Moonfire Amulet began to change. It grew warm against Nia's skin, its light spreading until it enveloped her entirely. When the glow faded, Nia found herself transformed. Her clothes had become a shimmering dress that seemed to capture the essence of both worlds, the earthy tones of her village mixed with the magical iridescence of the Hidden Kingdom. "The amulet has chosen you as its true wielder," the elder explained. "With it, you can open portals between worlds, allowing for exchange of knowledge, culture, then magic." Nia looked at her friends, Kofi, Jabari, Zai, and Amara, each of them glowing faintly with their own magical auras. She then turned to face the villagers, seeing a mix of wonder and uncertainty on their faces. "This won't be easy," Nia said, her voice ringing clear and strong. "We have much to learn from each other, and there will be challenges along the way. But together, with the magic of dance and the power of friendship, we can build a brighter future for both our worlds." As Nia raised the Moonfire Amulet, its light pulsed in rhythm with the beating hearts of all present. A new age was dawning, full of possibilities and adventures yet to come. The dancer from Magi Village had started her journey seeking to save her people from drought, but she had found a destiny far greater than she could have imagined. And so, as humans and magical beings alike began to dance together in the village square, the stars themselves seemed to twinkle with anticipation of the grand adventure that was just beginning.